play Bohemian Rhapsody and all these like amazing classic bands that you all you know of and you grow up with. But then I have to say, as I look back on it now, the 90s to me is such a special time. And it's weird because when we were in the 90s, it felt like, is this a special time compared to the 80s, compared to the 70s? It didn't sometimes feel that way. But now looking back on it, I feel like 90s is one of the best decades of music, especially in pop music.
I agree. Why do you say so? Like, why do you feel it's, I mean, I agree. Like the 80s were everything, in the 70s, like last night, disco night on That Singer. But right, like looking back, we realize it now, right?
Yes, because it's one of those things that I think it's hard to appreciate the moment for what it is without comparison. And now, Taylor Swift, I love Taylor Swift, but with some of the newer music that plays on the radio, I don't recognize it as much sometimes. I'm like, who is this? And I'm like, I just crave that 90s, early 2000s sound. And I miss it and I love it. I know I'm partial because that's my time. That was my era. But every generation says that, right? Like, oh, the music today isn't as good as it was back in the day for us. But I do think millennials and I think 90s in general, the reason why it's so there's a reason why the 90s are so popular again, including in fashion. I was just at the mall and I was blown away at all of the 90s fashions, the 90s t-shirt prints, the patterns, the designs, the big overly baggy jeans. It's all back, David. It's all back. Bucket hats. It's all come back.
Does this mean you're going to go back to the mall and just get geared up in your 90s stuff?
I tried and I felt like I couldn't pull it off because look, I work on my fitness all the time and these big oversized clothes, I don't love it because I feel like I'm swimming in them and I work too hard to not show off my body, okay? Like I want to actually wear form-fitting clothes now. So I guess maybe that's a reason why, but I did try on some of the big jeans again and I was like, I don't think I did this already. I don't think I can pull it off again.
See, it's your day job is keeping you from the 90s fashions now.
Exactly. That's totally it. And I mean, I saw there was like a shot of Justin Timberlake that had come out in the past couple months, and he had huge pants on. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's something. I don't know. I think this might be kind of a hot take, but I feel like there's just something about being in your 40s and wearing overly baggy clothes that, in my opinion, just does not work anymore. That's my opinion.
Some people could say the same thing about being in your 40s and wearing very tight-fitting clothing.
This is true. This is absolutely true. You bring up an excellent point.
What I think I know the picture you were talking about with Justin, right? And you almost have to look at it and say, like, is this current? I mean, you could tell it's current, obviously, because of Justin's age, but you have to do a double take, totally.
It's a fashion statement, and for that purpose, it worked. I think if you're not on a red carpet somewhere and you're actually just meeting someone for coffee, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I could pull it off. That's what I'm saying.
What was the impetus to, kind of leave music behind, like as a day job and start your high level performance academy?
I'm someone that gets bored easily. I feel like I get excited for the next chapter. I get excited for what's next. And so if I do something for several years, I kind of feel like, okay, I'm ready to keep stretching. I like taking on new challenges. And if I'm not, I kind of start to feel a little stagnant and a little stuck. So, in some ways, after doing almost 10 years in the music industry, I was like, okay, I've done this now. I want to do Broadway. And then I did that for many, many years. And then I got a chance to be in two of the biggest Broadway shows in musical history. And I did it for 4 years of my life. And all in all, then I was like, I'm ready for the next thing. And I just think I get excited to keep stretching and setting new goals.
Speaking of Broadway, are you excited to see Ariana Grande and the Wicked movie?
Oh, I think the cast is fantastic. I love that they're splitting it up into two separate movies. What do you think about that? Because I think with Act One and Act Two of Wicked, I think it would be kind of hard to smash it all into one movie, in my opinion.
I mean, of course, I always go to like the marketing behind it, and I'm like, what a brilliant business move, right? Like, we're gonna have a huge
Yeah.
hit, we'll have a huge second hit. I think it's a good idea, right? I think it's a lot to cram into one movie. And I mean, there's enough material there, right? It kind of lends itself to two movies.
It does. It lends itself so well to two movies. I think it would almost be a mistake to try to cram it into one because they'd have to really shorten up a lot of the they'd have to shorten up a lot of the storyline to fit it into one movie unless it was like a 4 hour long movie. So I think it's probably the move to split it up into two. I think that the cast is going to be fantastic. I think Ariana will be fantastic in it.
I think so too. I'm curious, just being, you're a life coach for health and wellness and fitness and your day job now. What do you think? I'm just so curious of like the whole Ozempic, Manjaro, Wegovy phase, which has swept the music industry, Hollywood. I mean, let's just face it, we're all in this business. We all see what's going on.
Yes, I mean, I think it works for some people, and I think I've heard from some other people that they've felt totally awful on it and they had side effects. I always think in general though with health and wellness, like you can't ever really circumvent like the fundamentals. And I think the fundamentals of eating healthy, of just moving your body, people say, what's the best form of exercise? It's the one you're willing to do. Like that's it. You don't have to get overly complicated about it. Moving your body, you could be going for a walk, eating healthy, getting a good night's sleep, practicing mindfulness techniques. I think there are, of course, things out there like Ozempic that can work for people. And I think if it does, that's awesome. But it's also sometimes, I think, a band aid. And so I think it can never truly replace, I think, just living a healthy lifestyle.
I would agree with that. Do you have like one situation with someone that's come to you in your day job that kind of sticks out as, like how you help them, or just like a case that sticks out of like, wow, this person's life has changed forever?
Yeah, I got a chance to work with my client, Michael Murray from Ohio, has actually lost 250 pounds in my program.
Wow.
And when he first started his journey, it was like, I'm going to walk 3/4 of a mile around the neighborhood. And he had to stop twice to catch his breath. And here we are a couple years later, and he's lost 250 pounds. Not only has it changed every aspect of his life, as you can imagine, he just completed the New York City Marathon. And to hear people say, Coach Ash, you've given me the tools to like totally change my life and break through to levels and achieve things I never thought I would be able to do, like a New York City marathon, like losing 250 pounds, is really rewarding. And I always tell people as like a performer, it's really cool. You get to look in the audience and see people be moved by performing or singing. But when you work with someone one-on-one as a coach, like you're really making an impact in their lives and you share a different kind of connection than you even do when you're on stage as a performer. So it's been really incredible for me, this experience of working